What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the big shebang. I am your boy Kwaman Sarji. We are your keys to the MulDiverse. And once again, we are back at it to have some fun, chill with some cool people, and bask in the greatness that is the Snyder Cut with a very special guest. But enough of me talking. We are about to go straight into it by introducing the rest. So, ladies first, as a queen would tell you. Joe, let them know.
Hey everybody, welcome back. And we are here with our special guest. We've got so many new people in the chat. Hi everybody out there. Yeah, welcome. Let's have some fun.
Avia, let them know.
What to do, baby? We're gonna have a great show for y'all tonight. I'm super excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Let's go, Key. Let them know.
What it is. What's up? It's Wednesday. I'm gonna cut up. What's up, y'all? It's Key. I'm excited for tonight's show. It is a packed house. I hope y'all enjoy it. Let's go.
All right, Mike. Let's go. Let's get it.
I'm gonna keep it moving. She said, "What it is? What's up?" Hey, that was a banger in high school for me. I'm sorry. What's going on, good people? This is the Odd Geek, aka King Steppenwolf himself. I'm super excited to be here. Steppenwolf did nothing wrong. I am in love with Steppenwolf.
Anyways,
I want him to go home. I just want the man to go home. That's it. But no, welcome to another exciting show. Thanks for coming out.
Yep. And now we're gonna throw it over to Big A himself, Big Aaron. Let him know.
Hey everybody, you know what it is. It's Aaron Michael, and I would just like to say this program is made possible by contributions to MulDiversity from viewers like you.
Thank you. Indeed. And should we go ahead and just do it right now? Should we go ahead and let our guest in? Should do what y'all think?
I guess we can let it in.
You can go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, making his triumphant return after a blockbuster performance in Zack Snyder's Justice League as the great and awesome Cyborg Victor Stone. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, Ray Fisher.
Well, how am I supposed to live up to an introduction like that? What's up, MulDiversity crew?
What's up?
What it is.
What's up?
How y'all holding up today?
Holding up good.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
It's all right.
Dig it. Thank y'all for having me back on so soon. And it feels like only yesterday. I'm still in the same hotel room as when we spoke last time. I promise you I have left at certain points, but I've been here today for the night. So
Yeah, we know you leaving. We follow you on Instagram.
And I appreciate it. Aaron got the Borg life background out there.
Oh yeah, you know what's up. Oh yeah.
I do know. Come on. Appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You want to get down to it? Okay, so let's get started with this. Everybody wants to know about how you feel about the cut, but we want to know how you felt, sitting down and seeing scene after scene with these restored faces that were like cut out of the first 2017. Now the parts, their stories coming out. How did that feel for you?
To be honest, like it filled in so much. And, for lack of a better description, like it added so much more color to the story, right? It opened up so many other storylines and so much other potential for people to go on and have their own adventures. And that was one of the things that I actually really loved about, the original version of the script is like, by the time you get to the end of it, like everybody's like starting that process of healing. Everybody's sort of finding their way. You open up things for like, for Ryan Choi to, start his deal with the Atom. Like, it's all those little nuances that really get me because I'm a big fan, and I know you all are as well. But, it's all those little bits that I can like track and piece together later down the line that I really, really love. So I was proud. I was definitely humbled. And I was a little bit surprised because a lot of that stuff I had not seen before, right? My first time watching this movie was, a couple days before the virtual premiere. So, it really made my heart well up, seeing Karen Bryson for the first time, seeing Joe Morton's arc like extended, because there were all the scenes that he had in Star Labs that I wasn't there for, right? And so, I can go on and on and on. But short answer long, or long answer short. I felt proud, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we actually got a little seat a couple days before the cut. Q, if you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Man, that was just an awesome experience. Being able to there's only been 3 times in my life where I've stayed up past 12 o'clock to get something, and both of them was video game related. And when I tell you, I've never been more happier to sit for 4 hours after 1 o'clock in the morning to watch a film. And I mean, just like not being tired, not being fatigued, just everything that I've been wanting for the past 4 years and experiencing it and more. It was like I literally watched it again. I probably didn't go to sleep that day until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Manners, were you supposed to stay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Joe got to keep us in check. So
thank you.
I was gonna tee it up. Thank you, Ray, for just being awesome.
It might have been that was Cyborg clause that might have dropped you something in your email socket. But no, you all are welcome. Obviously, we're all big fans here, and I appreciate y'all being as supportive and as passionate about the work as we are doing it. So, it's my pleasure, my honor. So I just want to get a Snyder Cut count. How many times have each of you seen the Snyder Cut at this point?
6 times.
6. That's 7 on your hands, man.
10.
I'm gonna say 7.
5.
I just watched it again yesterday, so that's made 7 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 times. Okay.
10.
You got
5.
me.
Okay,
Five.
Key.
See, Key is the MVP because she actually works during the day for more than any of us here. So that means she's on her phone watching it and working at the same time.
See, don't get her fired.
Right.
Sounds like a snitch to me.
That movie is my background music. Whenever it's like, I don't really feel
Right?
like watching the TV. I just put it on. I look up. I go, "Ooh, that's cool. Oh, that's great." Still can't believe that's a real thing, right? It's beautiful. You definitely got me beat. I've probably seen it all in maybe about 6 times at this point. So definitely like 24 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League. But we're clearly making up for lost time because we should have had this, be what it was back in 2017. So I think we could, forgive ourselves because this is the culmination of years of effort, years of struggling, years of fighting, years of passion, years of fundraising, all of it. So, I'll be enjoying this film for the rest of my life.
Honestly,
I hear it might be releasing on DVD this summer, so you already know what time
Need
it is.
that. Gotta have that in the collection.
Absolutely.
Our homegirl Rasha, she said she's going to watch it as much as she can, like you, Ray. She said she's going to watch it for 4 years straight if she has to make it for that long time. Because
Exactly.
It'll be the last
it's like that.
last movie I ever watched, man. We actually had some cast and crew here because I'm still in Mississippi working on Women of the Movement. Woo, woo. And we had some cast and crew end up watching it, and it's kind of magical what the movie does to you. Like, it just sucks you in. And I still haven't been able to piece together exactly what it is about it. But 4 hours has never blown by so quickly in my life. And I was like, you know what? I should probably just start setting my sleep cycles in terms of like Zack Snyder Justice League run times. It's like, oh, how'd you sleep yesterday, Ray? Oh, I got about 2 Snyder cuts of sleep last night. like it's very. I don't think I've ever experienced something like this, right? Outside of like an epic like Lord of the Rings or something like that. It's like the visuals, the action, the music, all of it is. It's just expertly put together. And then on top of that, you've got obviously the overwhelming positive, critical, and general audience response to it. There's nothing that can be said, right? It is what it is. It literally is what it is. So
have you been identified on the street yet as, oh my God, that's Cyborg?
Oh no. I mean, we're still got the COVID mask situation happening and everything. And also I don't see too many people in the streets anyway, because we're a little bit more isolated where I'm at in Mississippi. And so no. And what's funny is I really don't anticipate too much of that even happening, because I was a larger person when we shot that. I put on 20 pounds. And from where I was at the time, it was actually 30 pounds. But, my body floats around, maybe 205, 207 pounds. And I was about 220, 20 some odd pounds for in 2016 to shoot the film. And so folks will see me in real life and they'll go, "You look different," right? And I'll either go like this, or I'll go like this. What do you mean? It's usually like kids at comic conventions, right? Like, you gotta give them the eye. You gotta go, all right, how about this? And they go, oh, I can see it. Maybe, yeah. But nah.
Okay. We want people to know. I know people are like wanting us to ask you questions about the cut, but you gave so much to the Faruqi Bros this morning. I mean, around noon earlier. So go watch that Comic Book Debate. Their YouTube channel. It's Comic Book Debate, right? Yeah, go watch that. They went in. So we don't want to repeat any of that.
Well,
so we have some questions.
Ask me whatever comes to your heart, comes to your mind. I'll stick around as long as I can. Yeah. So let's kick it. What's up? What do you think?
Okay. He's game, y'all. Come on. So we got questions about Cyborg as a character. So kind of think about what Cyborg would do as a character. Avia, you're up first.
Yes. Okay. Since you're in Mississippi and it's steeped in HBCU culture, if Victor Stone got accepted to an HBCU, which HBCU do you think he would go to?
Ooh, that's tough. Maybe Howard.
Okay.
I feel like Victor's parents, particularly Silas, would push him wherever Silas went, right? And ultimately, I think that's more likely where Silas would have gone. Vic may have pushed against the grain a little bit, like, oh, I'd rather go to Spelman. I'd rather go somewhere else. But like, I could see maybe Howard. Yeah.
Okay.
You just
made because I'm alumni of Grambling State University, but it's okay.
Okay. All right. Well,
you made my day.
No shade, as Mike says. No tea, no shade.
You kind of made my day with that one because I'm from DC, so that's like.
Well, look, my pleasure.
That made my day.
Key, you got the next question.
Okay, so let me see how to word this. Okay, with how Marsh Manhunter shapeshifts himself into being a human, so he can be amongst others and disguise himself. Would Victor ever be interested in doing something like that by chance, to kind of distinguish himself so he can go out, or would he be more comfortable just being as he is, given the fact that he is all purposes legally deceased?
Yeah.
So no.
That's a tough call. I think one of the really interesting things about Cyborg is the idea that he can't shift, right? He is who he is. He has to be who he is 24/7. And what's always separated him from the other heroes, and something that I find to be both empowering and also, part of what his struggle is this idea of trying to find wholeness, right? All the other heroes, they have their alter ego, they have their identity, they can take their suit off and live whatever other life they choose on one end or another, but they may not feel whole just doing one, just living that one part of it, right? clearly there's something greater than just that idea. And so Cyborg clearly he's got the ability to make holograms and projections, right? So he should be able to, if he wanted to, he could just project a really intricate projection over the machinery, right? If he wanted to, and walk around as, you know, Vic Stone or really technically anybody, right? He probably wouldn't be able to really touch anything because the hand would go right through the projection, but he could. It's a matter of whether or not he would want to. I think you know, there have been different runs of the comics where Cyborg, you know, is he shows his body a lot more. There's certain runs in the comics and in the TV series where or we've seen in the animated movies and things where Cyborg, you know, he hides out a little bit more. So I think it depends on the interpretation. But what I loved about what Chris and Zach had done is this idea at the end of the film, right, where Cyborg, you see him take off the hoodie and sweatpants, right? Yes. And he leaves it at the grave. He leaves it where a lot of that past trauma is for him, right? And you see him fly off, and we get this idea, the sense that, you know what, this guy's finally taking a step toward a step toward the, well, not, he's already taken steps toward the positive, but a bigger step toward the positive, right? I was actually talking to somebody a little bit earlier today. I was like, you know, the crazy thing about it is, like, you know, Cyborg's trajectory, even within this film, and this is just one small step in the actual healing process, right? It may take him years and years and years to heal from the trauma, right? And he may take a step forward and 2 steps back. Ultimately, what I was most interested in with the character and with everything that's going on with his trauma and exploring that is the idea that, you know, this is something that is going to build over the course of multiple films, right? Back when there was a Justice League 1 and 2 planned out, back when there was a Cyborg solo planned out, you know, you would see that progression over the course of film. So it wouldn't be like, hey, Vic's all better now at the end of Justice League, so now we're just going to kind of make jokes and, you know, not really progress the character anywhere. You know, this was going to be a slow but purposeful build for Vic's journey.
You know, I love that you said that, because oftentimes in general life, people think that you're supposed to just be over trauma like that.
It doesn't happen. That's not how
it
goes.
Lingers on.
Yeah, and I think it would be a little disingenuous to pretend as if that would be the thing, right? Like, at the end of the movie, Vic's good, he's cracking jokes and all that. It's like, no, there's the thing that I think drew me to these stories is that the idea that these are stories that have meaning and consequence, right? Yes. And as I was telling the Faruqi bros, I was like, you know, Man of Steel, seeing that film, right, was one of the first times I was like, oh, there's actual, like, collateral, like, serious collateral damage. Yeah. And you're thinking that's what would actually happen in this circumstance if this were real life, right? And some people want to watch this stuff for escapism. Some people want to watch it, you know, for the grounded nature of it. Some people want a little bit of both. And I think, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League is like, I mean, it's like a perfect blend. I don't think I've ever seen a superhero film that has made me feel quite the way that this one does, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense.
I have a question. When you talked about the removal of the hoodie and the clothes as being that huge step, when we go back to the point where he's helping the single mom and he takes his hood off, would you say that was like a half step?
That was a step, yeah. And the interesting thing is you can watch the progression, right? You see him fly off during that sequence when he's flying for the first time, and you see him smile, which is one of the only times you see like a sort of beaming smile from him. And this was something that was like intricately sort of like laid out, right? Because if you give the character too much of a single thing, right? He's smiling all the time, all this, it starts to lose its meaning over the course of the film, right? And so, you know, we see him at the GCU football game when he scores the winning touchdown. And he looks over and, you know, we see that smile dissipate. We also see, with respect to the montage, when he's first starting to feel a little bit more like, okay, well, maybe there is something to what my dad is saying in this recording. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe, you know, I can find moments of joy even in this condition when he's flying and you see that smile for the first time. And then when he helps the single mother, who I think in a lot of ways reflects a world that Vic is very familiar with, right? And the idea of his mother trying to help him reconcile with the idea that, you know, things aren't the way that she desires them to be, both with Silas and, you know, in their relationship. But I think he sees something very familiar in her struggle and in her circumstance, and the way Chris, you know, masterfully laid it out. You know, you get that primer when Karen Bryson says, you know, Vic helped Sarah because he's got a good heart. You know, now objectively you go, well, you know, breaking into the school system and helping somebody with their grades is not a thing you're supposed to do. But ultimately, you know, getting to be able to lay that out and show that he's willing to do something that isn't necessarily objectively or universally seen as being like the right thing in order to do something that is a good thing. And I think that's something that is it's just a very interesting conversation that opens up. So when he has that hoodie down, it's because he is building up that confidence. He's building up that courage. Then as soon as he turns around and there's that couple that sees him and stares at him, right? Just even in that moment. And it's brief, but it's powerful. It puts him right back in that place, right? Yeah. Puts the hoodie back up, keeps walking. And, you know, it's like, all right, well, I thought that we were making progress. I thought people would accept me, only to find out that clearly that's not going to be the case, you know? And so, you know, in that moment, and with Silas saying, hey, listen, I want to talk to you as a father now, you know, him crushing that tape recorder, especially at that moment, right, is, I mean, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. So, you know, I thank Chris, I thank Zach for laying all this out in the way that it's been laid out. All I had to do is sort of step into it and, you know, try my best to be in the moment, you know, so.
I like this comment. Healthier form of masculinity, the crying, the smiling, being human, or trying to be. It was good to see.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a real thing. You know what I mean? Like I've had situations in my life, and Cyborg is a really cathartic character to me because of how I grew up. Right? There's a sense of there is this sense of like, oh well, you know, men don't cry, so on and so forth. And then you've got the person who is the captain of the football team, star athlete, you know, a paragon who is in like prime physical condition, showing that he's got that softer side, that humanity, which exists within all of us, right? It just exists in different ways around different people. And so Vic is able to show that side of himself to his mother. He doesn't show that side of himself to the Justice League when he's endured all this trauma. He certainly doesn't show that side of himself to his father. And I think, you know, the loss of his mother was a person that probably one of the only people that he could connect with, you know what I mean, in that way. And so to lose that, as well as your body, as well as all this other stuff, you know, it, like Wonder Woman says, you know, she shut herself off from the world, and she recognizes that within Vic. And I think that sense of loss and that sense of who Wonder Woman is and what it is that she reminds him of, what it is that he lost, it makes a big difference. Like, I'm still peeling back layers of what all this stuff means. And I was in the thing. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's I mean, this is why I think it speaks to so many people, because it is these ideas, the relationships, family, all of it is so universal. Like, and even if you don't connect with the idea that Vic is disabled, even if you don't connect with the idea that Vic is Black, right? People can connect with this idea of family, and they can connect with this idea of these folks not being able to communicate healthily, right? Yeah, there's a lot to it.
It is. Yeah, and you go back to that part about his mom. Like he that grin outside the principal's office. She's also one that he can depend on to always have his back, and he doesn't have that anymore either.
Yeah.
He's finding that in the team, but you know, that's another thing that, you know, he's lost the person, like his foundation, his person he can always know. When he leans back, he's always going to have somebody back there to catch him. That's, you know, that's kind of depressing.
And also part of that grin was, you know, when we were filming, part of that grin was also the idea that Eleanor Stone doesn't take any, if you know what I mean. Period. And so when you hear, it's like when you hear your mom going in and laying into the principal, and you just thinking to yourself, yeah, you didn't know what you got yourself into.
I felt
Yeah.
Like,
Me of my mother and my grandmother.
Exactly.
Yep.
I
And
My
like,
grandmother has
at that point.
my grandmother has a PhD,
absolutely.
and if they ever call her Miss Gallo, it's like Dr. Gallo,
Yep.
Dr. Gallo.
And Vic's just out there like,
do it.
yeah, you shouldn't have went with the
Right.
missile.
Right.
No,
Down like-
that's not the move for this one. You'd have already lost.
Yeah. Here's one. I like this comment. My 10-year-old who identified. I love that. Yeah. So somebody in the comments had a question about whether Cyborg was left-handed. Who was that?
Rasha.
Rasha, yeah, Rasha.
Oh.
Cyborg in this version is left-handed, partially because I'm left-handed.
Yay!
and
Oh, you're lefty.
I am a
I'm
lefty
left-handed.
indeed. Yeah,
Hmm.
and a lot of the canon work is left-handed work, and there's a lot of it's weird. Is like there's a lot of like left-handed reaching in the film, right? Like Cyborg reaching out with his in the car with his mother, and then you've got Cyborg doing the same sort of reach with Silas in the lab, right? To sort of repeat sort of trauma, repeat action, repeat situation that can set a person back. And yeah, I've just been a lefty my whole life, so it kind of just fell into place.
I wanted to bring up this comment real fast from Valzad, and it says Vic brings the team together in the first ever Justice League movie. He inspires Bruce. He is a friend to Barry. He brings out Arthur's caring again. He reminds Diana of her struggle to reconnect.
Yes, that's powerful.
Literally the
Yeah.
soul of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm. The heart.
I mean, I'd never put it in those specific terms, but I can see that. I can agree with that. Yeah. I think one of the things that I like most about this is that we're dealing with these mythic characters, and it almost feels Shakespearean, right? And a while back in like maybe 2016, well, there's a line from Twelfth Night, right? It's some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them, right? And I remember just thinking, I was like, oh, well, that's synonymous to the characters that we're dealing with here, right? Some are born great, like Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, were all born with their powers. Some achieve greatness, like Batman, achieves it through his physical prowess and his training of his mind and his body. And some have greatness thrust upon them in the sense that both Victor Stone and Barry Allen get their powers by accident through circumstances that they really can't control, right? And, just taking it and putting it into those terms that I understood for myself ended up giving me a lot of clarity as to what the mindset is and where all this stuff was going. And, and talking to folks and saying, hey, this is cool. Like Vic and Barry are the youngest members of the league, but they're also the only members that got their powers by accident. And having people go, oh, yeah, we didn't even think of that. And I'm just like, look, whatever. Like, it's just cool, right? And that's just finding connection, right? In those ways is something that I just love. I love talking about the characters. I love talking about the themes. I love talking about like the potential for where these folks can go. That's the prep and the dialogue about the stuff like that we have creatively. That's my favorite part of the process. Like executing it is great, but I can't do any of that effectively, and I don't think any great director can execute their vision effectively without all the prep that goes into it. So, yeah, I'm a rehearsal fiend.
Okay. Who's next? Mike, you had a question.
Yes.
I mean, I actually had to change my question because my question was about theater, and I wanted to ask about the future. But I actually want to ask, what was your favorite scene that you finally got to see come to life from the cut?
I liked all the Steppenwolf stuff, the Apocalypse stuff. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Y'all know I love Steppenwolf.
I loved a lot of that stuff. I loved Ray Porter's stuff, the darkseid stuff, right?
Right.
I mean, the nightmare sequence that Cyborg has in the ship, when you see Darkseid spearing Aquaman and Omega beaming Volko, and like You know, this is the crazy thing. Sorry, I don't mean to get tangential, but this is the crazy thing about like the way Zach's mind seems to work. It's like you've got Bruce Wayne who's had this nightmare sequence in Batman, Superman, right? Then you give a piece of the nightmare sequence to Cyborg, right? And clearly these folks, they're not talking about what they've seen because they both think, oh, well, I just had a weird kind of thought. Can't really describe it. So like, if the idea is that each member of the league ends up getting a piece of the future or some potential future or some just a little fragment of it, right? That if they talk about it and put it all together, they can maybe figure out a way to like forego that future, right? You know, it's just an interesting conceit that you have that through line, you have that narrative, and it feels very comic booky, right? Yeah, it's just wild. It's wild. Sorry, but the apocalypse stuff for sure. You're looking at that dynamic. And realizing that even Steppenwolf's got a family that he's trying to get back to, right?
Yes.
And the idea that Darkseid is out there slaving this man for 50,000 more worlds.
Yeah, I was like, baby, what'd you do? What'd you do?
Oh, son was going through.
Darkseid is like, hey, listen, I have turned 100,000 worlds to dust, right? Looking for his great prize. That means you done had 100,000 already. How many of that 100,000 was part of Steppenwolf's original, right? Because 50,000 more means he probably got about a couple thousand under his belt at this point, right? Like how many of that 100,000 belongs to Steppenwolf? It's wild, man. Wild.
It's like, how much was your punishment to begin with?
That's what I want to know.
Right.
It'd be funny if Darkseid destroyed one planet, got tired, and was, you know what, Steppenwolf, you know what your punishment is? Go ahead and knock out the rest of it.
It's like you wanted to be a new god, right? You get to live forever. 1,000 more worlds in the grand scheme of things. Steppenwolf's just like, all this boom tube making me tired, man.
Oh man.
So when you think about that, you think about the grandiose nature of it, and the fact that Darkseid is aware, clearly very aware. And I'm about to geek out now. We're about to be on here for like 3 hours talking. He's very clearly aware that there's a multiverse, right? And as far as I'm aware, that's the first time we've heard the word multiverse used in these DC films, right?
Yes.
And so he's probably got a couple hundred from this universe, a couple hundred from that universe. He's been bouncing all across this thing.
Right.
Like just the possibilities are like limitless, man, endless. And that's what I just love it. I just love it.
Rasha with the theory. She said Darkseid probably was the architect of why
Darkseid is messy. Darkseid is messy. Messy.
Well, there's the thing. It's like figuring out the politics of apocalypse. Like I'm sure they got some Game of Thrones type stuff happening on that planet. You know, you saw goodness over there, strong but silent. You know, doing whatever. Besides the evil, doing whatever you're supposed to do. Darkseid is the evil aunt waking up and choosing violence. And just think about this: if Steppenwolf is like the lowest ranking of those folks, like imagine what the other cats are gonna be able to do. Like even though Darkseid looks like, hey, you know, he's in the robe, he's probably more of a conniver than a fighter, right? He's probably got some tricks up his sleeves. I wonder what he's got under that robe that he's hiding. Some kind of like Darkseid tech, you know. Yeah, no, it's pretty wild, and I wouldn't put it past there to be this sort of power struggle on the apocalyptic side of things. I wouldn't put it past them at all.
I would love that.
Right, Aaron? Right, Aaron?
Right.
Yes. Yeah, right, Aaron?
Don't get him started, y'all. Stop.
Right, Aaron? Right.
You and me are gonna have to like sit down and talk for like 5 hours. You got stuff like forever because oh my gosh, you're geeking me out right now. But I'm gonna go against the grain actually. Yeah, one, my parents love you. You're an actor's actor because oh my gosh, you got fans. You got fans in this household.
I appreciate
it. If your interpretation of Victor Stone, which lantern core do you think he would be on?
Sorry, one more time. It cut out just a little bit.
Which lantern core do you think he'd be on?
You know what's weird? I'm not even gonna pretend like I know all the cores. I know there's there's different color rings. I don't know all of them. I know Fear is yellow, Rage is red, Will is green, blue is that Wisdom?
Hope.
Okay. There's a purple one.
Yes.
There's a purple one. I know that one. Okay.
That's the Prince
okay.
one.
The black
Prince one.
lanterns, you know what I'm talking about?
I do know the black. I've heard of the Black Lanterns. Yeah, but the Green Lantern Corps has not been my focus. But you know, obviously on the Green Lantern side of things, Zach letting us know that John Stewart was indeed a piece of the puzzle. So that's super exciting. Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly which Corps he would be on. I would have to do a little bit of a deep dive. Next time we come on here, I will have that answer for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope, but I
Could
mean,
it be like
I'm
Thanos with like all
it's
of
going to
them?
be about New Gods.
Oh, now you said Thanos.
Wow.
I mean, you like have all the rings. You have all the rings. I mean, what do you?
One of the crazy theories and one of the things like we were like fooling around with the idea of is that like maybe Cyborg, like once the boxes got torn apart, maybe he like absorbs the boxes, like just takes it and like makes it a part of himself. But that creates a bunch of issues and all that. Like he's already made of the mother box technology, so he can clearly do what these mother boxes do, and then some. It's just a matter of him unlocking that power within himself, and that's why I was like, you can literally go anywhere with the character, right? I mean, this is a technology that looks like magic, right? And what Zach had been planning and how he had been planning to evolve Cyborg's powers, it's like you'd be able to very clearly see, this kid who just went from, a regular kid to like the most powerful or one of the most powerful beings in the entire DC universe, right? And to be able to see that, like that evolution, and have it be something that's just natural. It's not anything that I thank my lucky stars, dealing with Chris and with Zach. It's like the stuff that they come up with, it's not like, they're not like, hey, let's do this because it would be a woke thing to do. This is just like, oh, it's a cool idea. The character just so happens to be a black character. And I'm like, y'all don't understand what the actual impact of that kind of decision like does, right? Like the empowerment that kind of decision would fill like an entire group of people with. And they're like, oh, yeah, why not? Why not? So that was really awesome like conversations, and being able to like talk about it, especially with Zach, about like some of the cool stuff that Cyborg could do or where he could go. It would almost be like just like really trippy conversations to a certain point. I'm like, oh, my brain doesn't even like work in that kind of imaginative way. So yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
No doubt.
I can dig it.
I want to know, and a lot of our fans watching want to know, what was your reaction of Leslie Jones live tweeting Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Yeah.
I know for myself, it was literally the best thing.
Comedy
Say
gold.
the best things about Cyborg.
Comedy gold. Like I was dying.
Like it was so awesome.
I was rolling. Actually, I was talking to Chris a little bit about it. He was like, you need Leslie Jones in every like script meeting, like period. Right?
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I feel like most movies need her at the very least in every screening, right? In every test screening. Because you'll be able to go ahead and get to the heart of everything right then and there. It was so
Yeah,
funny.
how to recycle cans. I love that part.
Oh my gosh. I love it. No, I thought it was really funny. And, it's, I mean, a lot of it, you can't really refute that. You really can't refute the logic, right?
Right.
Yeah. I caught it when she was saying, the team needs to plan, practice, get together. She's like, I need to come and help y'all. But I'm like, she's really highlighting the fact that this is a new team, new team. And I love that.
Yeah.
Her roasting actually brought that out.
And all these folks have been fighting solo for so long, right? And fighting solo, but also battling within themselves. So, I mean, they've only technically, by that sense, been using like half of what their actual power is. Because until you actually become, at least in my opinion, until you become whole within yourself, you're not going to be able to actualize your true power, right? And that's something that we see with Cyborg. It's something we see with Batman, like his ability to work around situations, I think ultimately is better served in a team unit, right? When he can delegate tasks, but his working solo only allows him to do so much on his own, right? And that's something that he comes to realize, and seeing everyone in some way, shape, or form, like finding that wholeness and being able to like fully flesh out their abilities as a result of that is pretty special. So
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's really awesome. I'm sorry. I know probably double dipping, but no one has asked you this, so I'm just we're gonna be able to ask you. Have you spoken to any of the other cast about the reception to the Zack Snyder's Justice League and just geeked out with them about finally seeing it and finally experiencing it?
Well, everybody's super busy, so I sent out some like, "Oh, that was dope. You were great. I love you" text messages, and it's that kind of thing. Like folks, they have families and all that, so finding time to like get on the phone and talk is a little bit tougher. But there's definitely been some text message exchange for sure.
Nice.
I can only imagine the excitement that they had watching it with you.
Yeah, and some folks got to see it before I did, so they were like, "I know, I saw it months ago," and I'm like,
that's literally how everyone here treats me when I tell them stuff. Like it's literally that. Like, oh, been new.
That's right. You weren't allowed to. Zach didn't want you to see it early. He wanted you to see it.
It was completely done, and I'm like, you know what? It's got to be for a good reason. There's got to be for a good reason, and it was for a great reason. Like, I can't even tell you. I mean, it's just even in how certain things are shot. So I'll say certain things are framed. Even like the formation of the fake Vic, fake Silas, and fake Eleanor, right? Them standing in that particular formation, and then at the end, when you look at the headstone, the names are in that exact same formation, right? And it's like, and and then maybe I'm reading too much into it, right? But even the shape of the frame that the picture is in changes shape, right? It looked to me, at least when it was just the double grave, Victor and his mom, and Victor's side being empty, like the shape of it was different, but the picture inside of it kind of looked like a mother box a little bit. Maybe I'm looking, you know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah. I mean, I could be just reading into it. And
that's details. That's details, bro. That's details.
I mean, it's one of those things. I'm like, okay, everything everything was either done with intention or it is so perfectly coincidental that I don't really care if it was or if it wasn't. Like it's there if you look at it. Yeah.
Justice League.
Cool. Justice League is therapy.
I'm not opposed to them having therapy because I feel like they each individually have been through something and then they have to come together as a team and they're still holding on to what they've been through. Yeah. And then to be able to do what they did, they need therapy. They need therapy and they need a vacation.
Well, Marshall Manhunter could be that therapist, right? He comes in at the end and tells Bruce, he's like, Bruce, you have to be proud of you. And Bruce goes, yeah, man, thanks. Appreciate that. Right? Martian Manhunter come in and be like,
he should be the
Martian Manhunter is the therapist.
Sit down. Welcome to the Hall of Justice here in this decrepit mansion. We got 6 chairs right now, but I heard there's room for more. So let's all just sit down and just start talking about some things. Now, Barry, why are you and Arthur not getting along right now?
The next web series.
One of my favorite sequences in the whole thing, and I was actually talking to my buddy Press earlier about it today. I was like, or maybe it was yesterday, but I was saying like the Flash running back the clock, right? And you see like the impact and what he is saying in that moment, talking to himself, but his father, who he may never see again in that moment, right? Saying something's one of them, the best of the best. And as he's running and getting closer to being able to deliver the charge to Vic, you see everything reanimating and like coming back to life. And you realize that the mother box is exploded Superman. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
We're dealing with that level of power.
Apocalypse tech.
I'm like, listen, but that adds so much crazy stakes. So when he finally hits Vic with the lightning, right, and sends him in the electricity and sends him into the box, you're like, okay, we see what will happen if this thing inside the box does not go the way we need it to. And so that only fuels its like emotional moment, epic moment, fueling into another emotional epic moment, fueled into another Steppenwolf getting the head cut. Like the balance of that and forth. They did their thing with this, man. Like,
Absolutely.
And that music, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the music with the dialogue and everything and how everything was playing out, it just made everything more emotional and more dramatic to feel what we were watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I think the circumstances now, especially this idea of family and folks not being able to be with their families for whatever reason, right? Corona or travel issues or whatever it is. Like, I've said it before, like the world, like we're looking for healing, we're looking for reconciliation, we're looking for those things. And this is a movie that definitely speaks to the time we are absolutely in.
Big
So,
time.
Big time.
yeah.
It's like it came out at the perfect time.
Right.
I mean, all things being considered, all the all the drama and all the back and forth, and the length of the movie, this and this and that. Yeah, I think this is probably the perfect time, right? And I think the fans have been rewarded certainly for their diligence. I think the folks that worked on the film have been rewarded for their patience and their hard work, right? Yeah, it feels like it feels good.
Looks like the people in the chat are asking for funny stories from behind the scenes. If you remember anything? I know that was a long time ago.
That was all that footage y'all saw was 5 years ago. I mean, with the exception of that Jared Leto sequence, like all the stuff we shot was 5 years ago.
Yeah, y'all, this is gonna be hard.
It's kind of crazy to even think about that, but usually, we were on press tour for Justice League. Like whenever people would ask me questions about the process, like mentally, I would always be and I will always refer to our time shooting the original photography. Mm-hmm. So like the funny stories that I have about like Ben wearing basketball shorts in the Batmobile, like all of that. All of that was during principal photography. If you ever heard me talk about or regale people of these sorts of tales, it would be principal photography. And I know there have been some special features footage that's been released recently of like Ezra pranking me, putting his face all over my trailer, right?
How did you get him back? Did you get him back for that?
Well, the thing is, my problem is I started it. So if you hear in the video,
so you're an enabler.
I'll prank you. I found the Cyborg standee. It's like this, 6 foot tall, cyborg me, and I ended up putting it in his pop-up tent, right? And I tried to put it in a position where like he'd walk in and like there's a little mirror in the corner, and I was trying to get it just right so like he'd walk in, he'd like see the mirror, and it would look like I was just like standing behind him in the mirror, like horror movie style. It didn't go off as well as I had hoped, but he said, "Okay, well, it's on now." And that's kind of how it went. So everything was all in good fun, and that was one like as I've said, like it is probably one of the best kind of setups I could have asked for insofar as like it being the first time on a major production like that. The level of engagement, the level of like fun and passion, and all of it. And to see that you can get the work done in that environment, under a high stress environment, and still maintain who you are in that process. That's something that I don't think anybody who's ever worked with Zack Snyder would be able to say like that he's ever like fallen short on, right? Because you get the work done. You have to. You got no choice. Like the thing has to come out, and a lot of it is the prep, and a lot of it is Zack knowing how to shoot exactly what he wants to do. So yeah, and the attitude, everything trickles down from the top. It's like even here right now in Mississippi, the folks that are show running, Marissa Jo Sarar, who's show running here for Women of the Movement, and Gina Prince Bythewood, and all of our directors, Tina Mabry, Julie Dash, Casey Lemons. It affects so much of the environment and so much of the day to day, and what you do for a living affects what you do, and I think more specifically how you do what you do for a living affects so much of who you are, and that in turn affects the people around you. It affects and then it affects people around them, and it's just like this sort of ripple effect or cycle. And so to see something that is not the traditional sort of like high pressure, Hollywood set, yelling and yada yada yada, like whatever that kind of stuff is, to see that that's possible, it's like that's the only kind of environment I want to be working in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, definitely.
You said Julie Dash, Gina Prince Bywood, and Cassie Lemon, and what they are all working on the same thing, and the world hasn't exploded. Like, like those are like three powerhouse directors I love.
Tina Mabry, she's out here doing her thing.
Yes.
So each of them are directing different episodes. So it's 6 episodes. Gina's doing the pilot. Tina is doing the 2nd and 3rd episode. Julie Dash is doing the 4th and 5th. And then Casey is finishing up with the 6th episode. It's a sort of anthology limited series. Yeah. So,
oh my God!
I mean,
can we come visit you?
I mean, we're all here for another. We should be done in a couple weeks, actually. But from what I hear tell, like, it's going to be a powerful piece. I mean, how could it not be with the material, but also the folks telling it? It's going to be really well done.
That's awesome.
And this is one that I am really looking forward to because, you know, my character is in, you know, certain parts of the piece, and so a lot of the action, like, I'll be seeing for the first time, watching it at home with you all. So.
Okay. I love it. So, okay, I made a discovery today when I was talking to, there was a fan that DM'd me, you know, excited you were coming on, and they used this nickname that I hadn't seen before, and I did look it up, and it's like it's hidden in certain circles and trending, but there's this nickname, Bay Fisher. Have you heard that yet? How do you feel?
Seriously?
I mean, I know Mike's
Seriously? Y'all doing this tonight? Okay. I see what time we on. Okay.
I was wanting to know. Did you heard? I mean, like, if it, you know, how do you feel?
To me, but I guess thank you.
Bless him, Lord. Bless him.
Yeah, the person who DM'd me that is in the. I'm gonna point you out to you.
They in the chat right now.
That's so funny. I mean, thank you, I guess. Yeah, no, I've had a lot of nicknames. This is the first time for Bay instead of Ray. So
yeah.
So,
so guys.
Dollar.
I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting.
Let me ask y'all, what are your favorite scenes? Each of your favorite specific scenes of the movie. You know, there's a lot I know, and you know.
That's 4 hours of movies, man. Like,
I'm
stressed. Like, I just got stressed out.
That was like.
So I'm gonna kick it to you like this. At first, I would tell you it was going to be your sequence looking at the alternate futures, because that hit me like a water bottle upside my head, like thrown from the balcony, and I'm like, oh, why? Whoa! And then when the ship said the future is rooted in the present, I'm like, what's gonna happen? But then when the Flash showed out with one of my favorite lines in any superhero movie about you got to break the rule, Barry, and you got to do it now.
Do it now. Yeah.
Went gutter and Junkie's, you know, music in the background. I was like, but then the nightmare sequence hit me. And then Batman hit the Joker with, as Harley Quinn was laying in my arms bleeding out, she made me promise her one thing to kill you, and I will effing kill you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
So I think Q liked the whole movie is what he's saying.
Right.
I mean, Q was, when we was watching it all together, Q was messaging us at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning in the group chat, and was just like going ham. So like, it was a mess. Like,
I turned my phone off. I turned do not disturb on my iPad. I literally blacked out everything in here, put my headphones on, blasted it. I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I probably sounded crazy in this room. Of just me going.
See, you had it better than me, Ray. My niece was asleep, so I couldn't do no yelling. I was like,
I said they think I'm in here having problems. The walls are thin here too, so I don't know what you're worried about.
Oh my God.
Probably got calls from reception. Like,
Go ahead, Mike.
I was about to say, I think for me, with even all the scenes being deleted and everything, and then we finally get to see the actual cut of the movie. I wasn't expecting when you and your mom were coming home to be in a wreck. I wasn't expecting that. That shook me up. It's not one of my favorite parts, but it shook me. So it kind of is like, like the shock value of that, because I wasn't expecting that. But I think it was just all of Steppenwolf. Like, Steppenwolf was on a mission. He was coming to, conquer and redeem himself. So yeah, I think that's like my favorite things of the whole movie.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so my first one is the fight when Superman came back.
Of course.
Like, everybody was freaking out because they knew something was not right with that man. And then Victor's system was just going crazy, and they were like, "Can you calm down? He's going to die." And it was just like that. It just like,
it's like, did you forget he's fast? The speeding bullet? Did you forget the speeding bullet part?
Like, and then that part where like Barry is like trying to do the how he was running and that side eye. It was like, you think I don't see you?
Yeah.
that was great. And then
I love that sequence, like when Flash is, because you can tell Flash is still objectively faster than Superman, even in the Speed Force, right? He's able to like move in real time. Superman's still kind of slowed down, but and Barry, when he's trying to not like hurt Superman, he just like kind of pushes off of him, right? The force with which Superman's able to like withstand it, like knocks Barry back, right? So it's like the inexperience of his fighting, like but also like the sort of like more tepid nature with which he's attempting to do this, because he knows if he did full Speed Force, he'd probably blow right through anything that he touches, right? And so having to find that delicate balance of being tender with things that you could just like crush or destroy, like even when he's saving Iris West from the car, like that was one of the big things that I think folks were talking about, was just like the physics, because you can't, like, if Iris West is flying out of a car and is essentially frozen, for the Flash to move her in real time, like it would be like the craziest whiplash I think that anybody's ever like experienced, right? And so they were really trying to compensate for the actual physics of what would be happening in that circumstance. And so having somebody take that into account in a different way, I thought was really unique. And the VisFX team did a great job at just being like, well, the physics of that, if it does this, if the lightning goes this way, or if like, he hits the sword too hard, it would actually go shooting off in that direction rather than this direction. And like just hearing those conversations, I was like, just like geeking out, because I'm like, oh yeah, you got to think about this stuff, right? You still have to make the movie, and eventually you have to go, okay, well, we can only do that. We can only think about that stuff so much, but the fact that they're thinking about it at all is like awesome. So.
Yeah.
And then also the scene with Superman blocking Steppenwolf from attacking Cyborg. I literally yelled when I saw that. I'm surprised my house didn't wake up, but yeah. I'm surprised nobody in my house woke up, but yeah, that was great. That was great. Awesome. And then they give me hell for this one, but it is what it is. When Steppenwolf had died and Darkseid had saw what happened, the side was like, I told you this would happen.
Oh man.
That.
Yeah, they just been ragging on Steppenwolf the whole time.
And it's like, well, told you.
What's been killing me is the memes kill me, man.
Yeah.
Kill me. I saw one, it was like, Darkseid is the kid in class that reminds the teacher y'all had homework to turn in.
Yes.
Just silly. I mean, it might have been worth the wait just for the amount of memes that we can get now, memes and get GIFs and all that stuff from this 4-hour film. Like, yeah.
Avia.
All right, so my favorite scene is probably the most grounded. It's your backstory because it reminded me of somewhat of my own. Because my mom, she might not be a doctor, but she will go to war for us. Anytime, any day, anywhere, she will fight for us. And your mom just reminded me of her when she corrected her, because me and Aaron were watching the movie together. And when she said Dr. Stone, I was like, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. I was just, snapping, just because that's something that my mom, my grandmother would do. And I also have two brothers, and they both played football. Okay. And just her cheering in the stands reminded me of when we would go and watch my brothers play football. And then as well as, when you're in the car and you and your mom are having that conversation and you're not afraid to show her your emotions. Because growing up with two brothers, they're always saying, why are you being so emotional? Stop being emotional. It's like, growing up with two brothers who really didn't show that emotion, it was great to see a young Black man show them truly, especially to his mother. And that was something that I just really appreciated, something that was really refreshing to see. And just, another badass scene, of course, the Amazons trying to,
of course,
mother box. And then as well, at the end when, y'all looking at darkseid, through the boom tube, and you don't know what can happen after that. Like like you were saying previously, it's an 8-lane highway. It can go anywhere.
Yeah.
In any particular way. Right. And so those are my favorites.
Awesome. Okay.
Mike.
Ooh, that's right. Oh, keep going.
Oh, Aaron. Aaron,
Mike. Switch position.
He's on mute.
Yeah,
he's on mute. Oh yeah, we switched. So okay. So now I'm back. No, it was obviously that last scene with Darkseid where they're looking, into the boom tube and he's looking right back and seeing Granny Goodness, the side, like, oh my gosh, I just that scene, just New Gods. Come on. It's New Gods.
Come on.
So much stuff. So much. Like Avia just said, that 8-lane highway. I mean, we just seen, finally the DC universe, opening up to the New Gods, lanterns. Because I did see that, the Kilowog, but I did see that. The nightmare, like just all of that is. I think it all starts with that, that boom tube scene where they're just looking right at him. I just geeked out. Avia can tell you, I literally screamed and hollered. I was like, oh my God. And he just staring at, oh my gosh, just, well, chef, kiss. Brilliant.
Awesome. Joe, what about you?
Brilliant.
Oh, I had a couple of them too. I liked the Amazons. I loved because I'm seeing the body, all different body sizes and types and skin tones and heights and it just wasn't one skinny blonde girl carbon copied. It was like all types of women. I loved that, and then they were just so fearless and. I don't know. I just loved all of that. And Connie, knowing that Connie Nielsen had that cut and, that scene and then the other one that came later, I'm like, this woman, I mean, it was another one that we didn't even know that she had this much that could have, I don't know. She should be an action hero or something. I mean, like anybody doing the next action, anything should get her because she's proven her chops. Oh she and the rest of the Amazons, I love that. And then, also love really the scene.
They were dedicated in the gym. Like, I mean, and as far as the training goes, like, there were some days where we'd be crossing over. Like, we would just be finishing up. Either me and Jason or whomever, we'd be finishing up as they'd be coming in, or vice versa. And on the days where they're finishing up, I'd walk in and be like, "Man, y'all are getting it." We were my little weights, like, and they're just like, "Yeah." And I said, okay, well, all right. I guess I'll just get on the bike and do it. No, I mean, and you're absolutely right. Different body types, different professions. You had some folks who come from the CrossFit world as well. Brooke Entz, who, what is her character's name? Oh, she's gonna beat me up. But she actually swings one of the hammers and ends up catching the wall. Her and Ang Herod, also known as Harry, they're big CrossFit people who, you know, really just like some of the nicest folks you could just meet. You know, just really like awesome time, just like across the board. So you have people who were boxers that were there, people who may have been like in dance, like you have people from all different backgrounds. And so no, I'm all with you there. And I didn't even realize that they had shot so much action stuff for the Amazons, like initially. Right. And you know, just seeing them come over the hillside with the legions that Nielsen sends them off to go get. And like seeing that visual, and you're like, I know they're not going to catch Steppenwolf, but man, if they did,
he would be done. He would be over. Yeah. And yeah, I wondered about dancers too, because some of those moves, they had to be. They looked like dancer moves. They were so graceful and with power though. But they were just, you know. So I'm like, yeah, some of these Amazons have to be like dancers in real life or dance trained. I loved all that, and I also, you know, love the part where, you know, like I said, Cyborg and his mom, to me, that was like, you know, Black Mama territory right there. He knew that she was coming in. She had his back. And then the principal had a chance until he didn't use her proper title. That ended everything that he could ever, like, I mean, I've even had moments like that with my kids, you know, like my mama's coming and I'm get there and she's like, well, I told him you were coming, and I'm like, okay, just a minute, you know. So yeah, and then the other mother moment, the single mom, that was like, that one had me tearing up. That whole sequence had me tearing up. Just that one was just really, and to think that it was cut out and it was so moving. I think that to me was like one of the ones that I just really felt, because that's something that I think that we need to see. We need to see that part, how he connected and why, because it's important. I mean, we know why he connected to her, but that's an important part of his healing process to do this as the first act that he ever does. Yeah. So that was a major hole.
He has the ability. He could take all that money for himself if he wanted to. He could do whatever he wants to do. The bear and bull market that's fighting, and he kind of like pushes them out of the way. Get this Wall Street stuff out of the way. Let me go ahead and get to the heart of it, right? And he goes in there and he sees this person's life. I mean, the fact that you have within Victor Stone's montage, you have a montage, you get the entire, not even the entire story, but one of the most pivotal parts of this mother's life. You get a montage about that, and you instantly feel for both Victor and this mother within the same sequence, within just a couple minutes, is like, I mean, it's masterful storytelling, right? To be able to pull those sorts of, to be able to touch people and like pull those sorts of heartstrings, not just with Victor, but also with this other person simultaneously who you've never met, and we may see that character again. You know what I mean? Like, all within the span of what? We see her going to the grocery store. We see this montage of her, you know, working at the diner. We see parts of her, you know, outside of her apartment, outside of the door to her apartment, taking the eviction notice off. And it's like we got everything. We understood everything about this situation, you know, from that little bit, man. It's like, oof, yeah.
It felt like a movie within itself. Like it felt longer than it actually was. So yeah, it was powerful to me. Yeah. So, and I also like the Barry and Iris thing, because I have this working theory that Barry is on the spectrum. And so the fact that he remembers the hot dog for the dogs while he, you know, so that neurodivergence is popping up right there with him figuring out that she needs to have her arms crossed. She needs to do this. And it's, to me, he was doing the calculations on how to set her down and how fast to do it in his head as he was doing it. I kind of felt,
that's
interesting.
That was
happening. Yeah. So, you know, that whole sequence kind of went to my theory that Barry has some neurodivergence of some sort.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah, no, I would love to see y'all have a conversation with Ezra about it, because he would definitely lead you down all the quantum paths that he's probably taken to like build Barry. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that would. But that's what I love about it.
Awesome.
Well, everything was great. So, yeah. And Mike,
I already answered my
Yeah, he
question.
already answered.
you already did. I already
Yeah. He told me he likes Steppenwolf. I'm happy. He said he likes Steppenwolf. So I'm happy. As you can see it, my name, King Steppenwolf. So I'm happy. If you want, I can't ask one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
What would you like from the future with Cyborg?
It's an interesting question because it could literally, go anywhere, right? You could do a Cyborg film. You could do like a mini series if you wanted to, like a 3-episode, whatever, right? You could do, the sky is really the limits.
Right.
Ultimately, what I would want to see happen is something that stays more in the grounded idea of what Cyborg could do potentially for humanity and what he chooses to do or maybe doesn't choose to do with respect to sharing his powers or his abilities with the world, right? Because he could do a lot of good. Really, he could probably use his tech to help folks that have disabilities, right? He could probably use his tech for a lot of different things on this planet, helping to engineer things that can help with disease, helping to engineer things that can, help with a lot of the stuff that we need help with here. But the matter of whether or not he chooses to share that tech because of the implications and, ultimately we understand like with technology often comes this idea of using it for the purposes of war, right? That's one of the first things that oftentimes ends up getting thought about with that. And so him having to choose, very much like Silas says in his audio recording, it's like, it literally rests, the world as we know it literally rests in Cyborg's hands, and what he chooses to do or not do, what he chooses to see or not see is going to be, it's going to impact the world. So those are just some of the general thoughts I would have about it. But for me, I'm excited to see, I'm a big fan of comic books. I'm a big fan of the DC stuff, period. And so, it'll be interesting to see where it all goes, period.
I was about to break the ice real quick and say, who's your favorite Marvel character?
Blade, since I was
from DC. Wow. Okay.
Blade,
I did it, and what I caused what I said it.
Marvel was Blade for me. Wesley Snipes growing up was like the thing. It was the thing. You want to talk about grounded, real superhero stuff? It's like you can't really do much better than that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
go ahead, Ray, I'm sorry.
No.
No, all I was going to say, and I got to put you on full screen for this one.
Oh God!
It just The Rock at DC Fandom last year. He was talking a lot of junk about what he was going to do to Superman in the Justice League, and now that we done seen what happens when you pull up on the Justice League, now that we've seen that you can be an agent of Apocalypse or Darkseid himself, I just want to know, what would Cyborg say to Black Adam when he catches him talking mad junk? I just want to know. What would Cyborg respond to? What would be Cyborg's response to Black Adam calling out the Justice League?
He'd probably ask, "Well, Black Adam, what are your powers?"
Lady King.
When Black Adam proceeds to start telling Cyborg about his powers, Cyborg will probably go, "It doesn't matter what your powers are."
Let's go.
I think ultimately, tech versus magic is always one of those interesting kind of things, right? Magic in the superhero world is kind of tough for me in general, because there generally aren't very many rules that I can follow. And for me, I like to be able to say, okay, well, this is kind of what could happen, maybe sort of what could happen. But it makes it a bit tougher. I don't think, Black Adam don't want no smoke with the whole league, though.
Let's go.
He said the whole league, though.
The whole of it. I don't think that's actually.
You don't want that
I don't think that's a real thing. unless he's packing something that we don't know anything about, then maybe perhaps. But you can't be over there getting beat up by Billy Batson and then you got to come over here and do something with the league. I mean, what are we talking about?
Sound like fighting words to me.
That sound like fighting words.
Ray just said the Justice League gonna put a whooping on him worse than Stone Cold used to.
Oh, come on, man. I want to thank y'all for having me on. It's been a pleasure. It's been a great follow-up. And again, thank y'all for all the love and support you've been showing to the film. You've been showing to the cast and crew of Justice League. And keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it. And I'll hopefully see y'all soon.
Most definitely.
Thank you for coming on. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You.
Take care.
Shenanigans.
Thanks.
I want to say something real quick, and I ain't even. You know what? Never mind. I'll wait.
No, say it.
No, because it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate to the chat because the chat is real messy. That's all I'm gonna say. No, it's not. That's all. Let me rephrase. The chat is messy. We don't tolerate disrespect. We don't tolerate any of that. So I see what you're saying. Chill out.
Oh, I thought you were saying you had something to say that the chat was going to take in.
No, I was just saying what I saw in the chat.
Oh, some stuff happening.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't appreciate that. Like I don't. I said what I said. Just chill out.
Yeah, this ain't that show. So what do y'all think? What are y'all thinking?
That was awesome. That was great. Matter of fact, we have a button for that.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, when Cyborg more or less said that, Black Adam better go ahead and just make that bag to collect these L's real quick. I mean,
jeez, that was
right.
Now,
give me chills.
I low key, somebody need to send that to Mr. Johnson himself. I'm just saying.
Right, because that was definitely a call out.
Yeah, definitely. Y'all want to clip it and send that to The Rock? I mean, we ain't gonna stop you because
yes, we
that
do.
was fighting words.
Yes, those were some fighting words. That was a challenge. Yeah.
The chat is on fire.
Hey, Mr. Johnson.
What's up? Oh, that's your dad, Aaron?
It is. Anyway.
I was wondering. What's up?
Hey, Aaron's dad.
Oh my god. This is going to be a fight. Don's, your husband says it's going to be a fight in Hollywood.
I know. He loves messy too. You don't act like you don't like to say
you can't say that the Cyborg is burning out or anything like that. The Cyborg is on our live right now. Like, don't be messy.
What was y'all favorite thing about what was y'all favorite takeaway from this? Because this was awesome. This was extraordinarily awesome.
Ooh.
The whole thing
I like
with
the
new
deeper.
guys.
Yeah, the deep dives is what you said. Yeah, the deeper dive into Cyborg, like talking about the scenes that we liked, like the scenes about I love that. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
When are we getting new guys?
Okay.
Where are
Right,
we?
That's what I want to know. That's the question. New guys, because you
When
keep,
are we?
new guys. Hey.
I'd love to know myself.
Let's
Well, I mean,
let's
I
hold
can
off for next
say
week.
that next week, I think
Exactly.
coming on.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Let's
Let's let everyone know in more in so many ways who is going to be.
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
Rasha.
They asking for that script. They asking for that script.
Ooh, this comment. This comment. This comment. Joe, my nephew's on the spectrum, and hearing what you say about Barry made him emotional. It explains why he loves Larry so much. That's awesome to hear.
More to it, but that was like the first time. But there's like so much more to it. Like when the mother box dropped, and I mean when Cyborg was like, Barry, no, and Barry's like, Barry, go, because he's like, your brain is racing and you're not hearing the right things, and then his tripping His tripping and falling every freaking where. Neurodivergent.
Mhm.
All of us who are neurodivergent, we clumsy as hell.
Yeah.
You know,
They
and that's
don't
why
get
when
out.
you said that, it makes perfect sense of him being on the spectrum. So it's like and then to have somebody in the comments, having that, reaction to it and having that, that moment that, they have somebody like that, it's amazing.
I would be so dang on excited if we were able to get Ezra to, dwell into
I would love
I'm sorry.
It's also true.
TW McKay asks, have we announced our guests for the weekend? And for those who don't know what he's referring to, the Culture Nerd, Light Cast Pod, 4 nerds, and a bunch of other dope people are doing a 2-day Us United event. So basically, this is for the fans. This is us celebrating the victory of the cut finally coming out, and us just for 2 straight days giving you guys awesome content. And we, unless Aaron has something in his bag of tricks for us, we don't have a guest per se, but we do have an event that we left in y'all's hands to decide, because
did they decide yet? Because I want to know.
Not yet. They haven't decided just yet. We still have a couple of more minutes to decide on what is happening. Let me find the tweet so I can show everyone where the polls currently stand. But essentially, we had 2 really great ideas and we couldn't decide, like any sort of political system, what to go with. So we chose to put them up against each other, and we chose to see what you guys, you beautiful people that listen to
amazing
us.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're not gonna get messy about New Gods. So that's what that is. If y'all see the shade that's being pulled in the comments, y'all something else.
So basically,
why y'all so shady in the comments about this dang movie, yo?
So basically, in about 15 minutes, it's looking, unless you guys, we got some Family Feud fans out there. It's looking like it'll be another bracket from your folks at MulDiversity, but this time we're going to be focusing strictly on the DCEU Snyderverse films that have come out, which is essentially all of them.
Describe all of them, because I think some people would like to know what we're including.
So the general consensus out of Zach's own mouth is that in his mind, all of the movies, if Zack Snyder's Justice League came out when it was supposed to and everything was right in the world, all of these films that came out would be follow-ups or prequels to those events. So your Aquamans, your Shazams, your Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84, those films would be in the Snyderverse because those feature those characters that were there, and those were characters that exist in the places he helped cultivate, essentially. So no Joker, no Joker or anything like that. None of the future movies like the Suicide Squad or the aforementioned Black Adam or anything like that. Just the things that we have seen so far. And so we will be bracketizing them. And
no air cut speculation.
No, none of this. Unfortunately, no air cut, because we unfortunately don't have that yet. So we can't judge it as on its merits, only on what we think. And that's not, that wouldn't be fair, because we could be like the air cut has Jason Todd come through the skyline and help the Suicide Squad, but we don't know if that's true or not. So we have to go with what we've seen. And that's what the Snyderverse Cup would be. Family Feud Snyderverse would be us split into teams, and we do it Family Feud style. Like, what is the most? We put out the prerequisite questions that would be the most answered and the most response, et cetera, and do it Family Feud style like that, with somebody acting as the Steve Harvey or whatever surrogate host asking the questions. But with 13 minutes left on the clock, it's looking like somebody here is going to have to create a bracket and piss people off because they're thinking we'll cook the books, so to speak. And
let's cook the books.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No.
What are they at? Because I'm looking at the poll screen still. Are they still asking about New Gods?
Yup.
We promised y'all that.
Yep.
Oh, look.
That's right, Mr. Johnson.
It be your own kin.
Okay.
I love it. But we love it.
Yeah, okay.
It's time for the twerkulator. That was fun.
Yeah.
We won't.
Just
That
to
was
let y'all know,
fun.
I'm not editing any of the after Ray stuff out or cutting it in half. So whatever y'all say will be forever linked to this. So
Whatever we want, you new guys.
I said twerkulator. I said what I said. It is what it is. City Girls was robbed. Cut that out. The City Girls was robbed.
Oh, this is a good idea right here. We should do a table.
Yes.
Can we?
Yes.
Yes, please. Oh my God, that would
Aaron,
be
can we
fun.
do it?
Yes,
On her
please.
I call Barta.
I already know who I want to be.
I call Barta.
Is Grail in it? Can I be Grail?
Can I please be
him on
Metron? Please.
Be Grail.
I call Barta.
I want Metron.
Oh,
Hold on, let me. I got the right video for this. Hold on. I got the right video. Hold on.
We're gonna bug you till you give us something. So.
Oh my God, a table read would be so cool, Aaron. How do you feel about that?
It'd be fun.
It would be fun.
Oh, now he's silent.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Yeah, sure. Why not?
No back talk.
Why not?
act it out.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I want
haven't
to see y'all
done-
act that out.
I haven't done acting
got
in
my
5
chair.
years.
Mm.
I haven't done acting in
my
5
chair.
years since I've been in the Snyder cut, which I didn't want to waste everybody's time because me and Ray would have just chopped it up for about 2 hours about that scene that was in the Snyder cut. And well, actually,
That's
and I
fake.
feel bad because Sam Benjamin was also part of that scene, and he's not here to add his input to it. So maybe one day we gonna get Sam Benjamin and Ray Fisher and myself. We'll sit down and we'll discuss.
Okay, so then the real
much?
question, the real question is then, if we do this script reading, which one of y'all want to be Granny Goodness?
Oh!
Yeah. Okay.
So we doing a table read,
Well.
read.
Huh.
Okay,
It's time for the twerkulator.
I
The
guess
City
we're
Girls was
readying the
robbed.
Armada, huh? Let's ready the
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna
Armada.
keep saying it. The City Girls was robbed.
Ooh, Don.
Man,
Okay,
see?
we bring Don
See,
in.
Zaz, why are you putting these spoilers in
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
I can firmly announce it, and
I
if
knew
y'all,
it.
if my account is sniped by Zach and Ray and everyone else, Chris,
That was
Jason,
did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
He wasn't trying to tell y'all.
I was John Stewart at the end. I was the stand. I remember the day like it was
look at the beard.
me, and me. It's actually funny. Let me zoom in on myself real quick. It's actually funny because me and Sam Benjamin was like Sam Benjamin and Harry Lennox was there because I know the streets were like some Ryan Reynolds was going to be Hal Jordan. I can say that Sam Benjamin was test screened for Hal Jordan too.
So what was John Stewart's voice then?
Oh,
I mean,
give it to us real quick. Give us a listen. Just the glasses.
Doing the acting thing.
hold on, let me get into focus. Because I gotta remember exactly. I gotta remember exactly what Zach what Chris wrote for me. In
Yeah,
the
I'm
Zach
screaming. I'm sorry.
gave. Okay.
For the love of God.
Oh my god!
Shut up, bitch! Oh my god!
You know what? Since that's how I'm gonna be treated, you guys don't get anything. You don't get
Oh
anything
my
from me
god! Come
tonight.
on now.
Y'all don't get
don't be
anything
like that.
from me. Since I get the
No.
not telling me to shut up.
Don't be like that.
No, that was.
You can't be like that.
Y'all gonna
That
have
was
to
a
wait.
setup.
Y'all
Somebody
gonna-
set you up.
Y'all
Somebody
gonna have to-
set you up.
Y'all gonna have to wait and catch it on the Blu-ray on the summertime. That's when y'all gonna hear me. That's when y'all gonna see me. Don, first of all, I don't need you coming in here saying all of these words that may or may not be true.
See, Don,
Get
that's
him,
what CGI
Don.
is for.
Get
That's
him.
what that's what CGI is for.
See,
That's
original,
just a
and
little-
see,
God.
the truth is, they took all of my CGI budget to make me look like Jon Stewart, and they flipped the money to make it where the Superman.
Will, Will,
So that's what they ended up doing.
We're
Will.
not flipping no money. We not finna do that.
We
Nah,
too
but
broke.
wait, look at this comment. Look at this comment. Oh God, I'm screaming. Yes, boss logic.
Start of the queue.
Hey, I mean,
Oh my
I
god.
look
am
at this.
scre-
Look at this.
Hi, Rasha.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh,
Look at this face.
Thank you, Rasha. We love you.
Roger, we love you.
We love you,
love
Rasha.
you.
Thank you so much.
Ew.
Peace out.
That was funny, not boss logic. I am screaming.
Actually, either Boss Logic, Dirtini, anybody, Wim, you can go on ahead. I'll slide him some coin for it. Aaron, you can sketch me up real quick.
Sure, why not? Sure, why not?
Anthony, how you gonna be a fan? How you gonna be
That
a fan
was
of ours
funny.
and deny the fact that I was Jon Stewart, Green Lantern?
I'm
Anthony,
sorry.
I'm gonna say it like this:
I'm with you on that one, Anthony.
if I'm lying, then Zack Snyder come on our show and tell me I'm a liar.
A
Come
damn
on our
lie.
show and
A
tell
damned
tell
lie.
the world.
Not a damn
that
lie.
I'm
A
lying.
damned lie.
If that's the case, then
Damn.
Chris Terrio come on our show and tell the world that you didn't write that for me.
I mean, they don't have to.
Please.
So,
Ben Affleck come on our show and say that you did not do ADR with me and
You
mine.
know you are not right. You're not right.
At all.
this
Yes,
yeah.
McKay, absolutely.
We're not. Oh my god.
Absolutely.
The clock cut.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Y'all, I'm screaming. Wrap it up. You got 2 minutes. Wrap it up. Second producer
Thank
said,
you,
wrap it up.
producer.
2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. Wrap it up.
That's true. That is true. That two things can be true, Don. Two things can be true. I do want to meet Zach, but
Wrap it up.
I know he's gonna be like some, yeah, dude. It was absolutely you. That's who it was, and that's what it is, man. I mean,
Well, the big secret is out, people. You heard it from here.
All right, you're exclusive.
Tonight.
Oh no.
matter of
Verizon
fact,
article
Sam
about it.
Benjamin. Sam, I know you're a friend of the show. You watch. You know, if you don't have to go into intricate detail. You don't don't have to go
This
into
is going to be my
detail.
apocalypse origin story.
WB said there is no NDAs. WB said there's no NDAs. I don't remember signing an NDA when I did this.
Great night, y'all.
Obviously, mean that if you didn't sign an NDA, that means you was not on it.
No, that just means I didn't sign it.
Let's
Because
keep it
we're on
moving.
We need to go to bed.
Somebody.
Somebody had to
Wrap it up. Outros right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
All right, ladies of the show, go ahead and outro since I'm being silenced. Since I'm being silenced.
You not being silenced. You know what
You'll
you
be
said. We know what you said, and
Were
you know what you
silenced
said.
Or silent?
Right.
No, see, that guy. We're not even gonna speak his name here, but that guy had me like they had to fight for me to be
Anyway.
back is Jon Stewart. Like I'm giving y'all these scoops, y'all. Y'all are gonna be mad when y'all don't do these scoops, bro. Y'all gonna be
Can
mad.
somebody mute him?
So back to these ladies. We gonna do it.
okay, let's start with Key.
Hi, I'm Key, and this whole night is going to be my apocalypse villain origin story. You guys can find me right there, Key Levon, on Barrow, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever. You can also catch me on either Friday or Saturday on Bish What with my co-stars Joe and Avia. And I'm starting to do reviews of different shows and movies. So if there's anything you think I would be interested in, just send me a DM and I'll check it out.
Big Money A, let them know.
What's up, everybody? You can find me on all social media platforms at Avian Knighton. You can find me here on MulDiversity every Wednesday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, as well as Bitch What on either Friday or Saturdays with Key and Joe, as well as the Unentitled A&A Show.
Let's go, Miss Professor Jonita Davis.
So there's wine in here. Anyway, it's been great. Come check out my stuff on the Black Cape Media YouTube page. And yes, Key is right. Well, Key's not the only one. We're all doing reviews on MulDiversity on Medium. So go ahead and check us out. DM MulDiversity or Key or any of us to review your stuff if you're a filmmaker or you're in a show or whatever. So yeah.
Alrighty, so per the use, you already know who's it bees. It's me, it's Quamon G. And you can find me every Sunday night with my bro.
For real.
You can find me as I am continuously being silenced every Sunday night on Facebook Live with my bro. I'm telling him you did that, Mike. I'm telling you did that for him specifically. Don't worry about it.
Wait a damn minute.
You can find us every Wednesday, every Sunday night on Facebook Live Into the Universe, where we talk about everything geeky, gamey, and nerdy, and you can find me here every Wednesday night, y'all, on MulDiversity. And then when we and Key bring back Q and K Talk Wrestling, y'all can find us there too. And then me and Mike and Aaron are going to be starting up MulDiversity Gaming. So y'all don't want to miss that as well. And I also do reviews. I'm also on the Veros, the Twitters, the Instagrams. And you may or may not be seeing me in some green very soon.
Hold on, sis.
I love y'all. Hashtag stop Asian hate, because we need to really, in all seriousness, make sure we stand with our Asian brothers and sisters. Because
Definitely.
for real, no joke. This is serious. I'm putting back on my regular voice for this because it's like no joke. But yeah, omnipotent odd geek.
Muted. I'm muted.
I'm muted. You know who it is. King Steppenwolf, Odd Geek. Thanks for coming out. I don't have nothing really to say. I'm so grateful right now. So yeah, peace out. Take the camera off me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we give you one of the best scribes for any new God's content you will find inside of the internet.
Yes. It's all true. All of it. Ready the artist. You know where you can find me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all social media platforms. At that thing right there, Aaron Michael _J. Doesn't matter where else I am. I'm here, there, everywhere. I'm on Apocalypse sometimes writing something. Maybe it won't take. No, we're not doing that. Anyway.
I'm so here for the collab with the Black Host. Go ahead, Aaron and the Black Host. Go ahead, do what you gotta do, please.
Let's do it. So, yeah, ready the Armada. We're about to do a script reading.
Yes.
I get that camera. They know where to find me. I don't tell them. They know. I'm Aaron.
Hey, Gillis.
It's time for the twerkulator.
Hey, Gillis, what's up?
But yes, in any case, ladies and gentlemen, catch us this Sunday at 3 to 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, where we do our Snyderverse Cup because it did win. And so your boy is going to have to do some work for the next 3 days. Also, starting tomorrow, our Monsterverse watch along. I unfortunately cannot play the trailer because we've been getting copyright claimed for some trailer music, which is some BS, and I'm gonna have to fight those. So we're gonna put the video on our Twitter, so you guys can watch it there. Please stop doing that to us, y'all. I'm not talking about y'all, but I'm talking about the folks who keep trying to copyright claim us for some generic music y'all don't own. We know the game.
Wait, are you saying that we can't post it? Because I was about to play the outro. Our outro is gonna be the trailer, so we can't play that right now.
We getting copyright claim, but I'm like, F it.
But it's royalty-free music.
Exactly. Right. It is royalty-free music, but they still
the girlies and the homies are trying it.
Don't start with that Team Zilla nonsense. Bye. Team Conga.
You already know it's Team Zilla. Stop playing with us.
Team Conga.
We get too close to this movie for you to be playing like that.
Wait a minute. Our special guest is on the team. What team did he say he was on?
He said he was on Kong last time.
Oh my God.
And there's
we're doing that.